So in the 60s, as a law student, what do you remember anything political? Anything? What was your most vivid
Well, it was
memory?
very exciting to be in law school studying the law and the Constitution. And then in my early days in law school, Kennedy was assassinated. And I remember that so vividly. All these future leaders of our country, politicians, lawyers, were crying on the streets, were hugging each other and supporting each other. And it was a major thing in the law school, all the professors and students, talking about how we're living a real world of studying the law and how politics and assassination enters into that. It was fascinating.
Okay, that's cool. Um, what were you doing at the time of the Watergate scandal, and what were your thoughts on it? Was it as big then as it is now, as it's portrayed now?
Well, the Watergate thing was probably one of the biggest things in my life because I was in Warner Brothers at the time, and we made a movie called All the President's Men, and I was a young lawyer responsible for clearing rights so the insurance company would cover us. At the time, we didn't know if we were going to be sued by people who we were, indicating might be culpable. And so we needed insurance policies, and they required us to clear rights, and it was a very arduous task. And then we made the movie. And my strong recollection of that movie in '76 haunts me even today. So how many years later? It's 2018, and the other day I turned on the TV, and there's John Dean, who was a commentator. And John Dean was counsel in the White House, and at this major premiere of the movie, I sat across the aisle from John Dean. And he left right as the movie ended. He didn't want to be quizzed by anybody, but that was real life coming into my life. It was just really astounding. So, and I testified earlier. I talked earlier about the testimony that Nixon and Elizabeth Holtzman, my college friend, my young friend in high school, quizzed Nixon. So it goes from there all the way to doing All the President's Men. And sitting next to Dean. It was exciting.
That is exciting. So then, what was your knowledge of the Arab oil embargo? Did you know about it?
I knew about it, but it didn't really mean much to me then. I mean, it was another thing that would happen and would pass. Today, it means a lot more to me. The fact that the United States is self-sufficient in oil, we were self-sufficient in oil then, but it was hidden from us.
Yeah.
So total corruption, and just amazing to me. Mm-hmm. And we emboldened the Arab states. We made them all rich, and a lot of difficulties we have in the world today is from petrodollars.
Yeah.
So there was an embargo, but did it need to be? Do we have to be suffering from it? Probably not.
Okay. Okay. Well. This one's referring to the Watergate scandal again too. And it's like, as a lawyer, how did you view the legal proceedings in Nixon's Watergate scandal? Do you see any similarities in those events and the Trump scandal going on now?
Well, I think there are a lot of similarities. It's honesty in government, and whether there is, and self-interest, transcending the public good. You have a responsibility to the public who elected you and to the country. So the question is, are you honoring that, or are you doing things for your own self-interest? That was a problem with Nixon. It's a problem today. Not been proven yet, but it smells. There's just a lot of stuff that probably should never have happened. And in fact, you can look at many presidents where nothing like that happened. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, what scandal occurred like that during the Obama administration? 8 years. So no impropriety sexually, no claim that he took any money from anybody or did business deals. I mean, it is possible to have clean politicians.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You can't have one without the other, really.
What else can I tell you?
So let's move on to the 80s. What was your experience with the fall of the Berlin Wall? Do you know any of the factors behind it? What did you know about it? Was this seen by you or people you knew as the fall of communism?
Well, it seemed to me that Reagan is saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, was the beginning of liberalization of Russia and hopefully normalization of relationships. And as looking back at history and looking today, that of course the pendulum has swung all the way back to where we were. We were on the right path and détente, and it's not happened. So can it happen again? There's no more Berlin Wall, but there are a lot of other walls.
Yeah, that's true. What was your understanding of the Iran-Contra scandal and the effects it had on global relationships between the three countries? So Iran, US.
Well, I know what happened then. The arms for hostages, the arms for funneling money to the Iran-Contras, and it all had to do with with the Middle East and dealing with the Iranians then and now and forever. And it shows you our public policy is misguided because we continue to go in circles. So look, today we're talking about the same thing: Iran and nuclearization and breaking agreements. And to go back to the Iran-Contra, Iran was in the middle of that. And before that, the Shah. So history repeats itself over and over again with a lot of the same players and the same problems.
Maybe we haven't fixed anything.
Right, you're right.
How did you view the political atmosphere of the 80s? Did you characterize like American nationalism as American nationalism you think strengthen the American government, the central government during this period, or like weaken it or stagnate
I
it?
can't say that I was focused on that. In the 80s, I was hard at work, making a living, working hard, long hours every day, having kids, raising a family. So today I'm more interested in that. I have more time to dwell on what's going on in the world now and looking back in the past. As I mentioned to you earlier, I'm reading a book now about Bolshevik Russia and called The Gentleman from Moscow. Fascinating to look at that slice of history today. But at the time that you're asking about, I wouldn't have been interested in it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the time to do it.
Okay, so this one's actually one of the last questions. Being a new father and raising a kid in this decade, I know you already had you had Robin.
Yeah, I raised two sets of kids, two different marriages.
How was raising a kid in the 80s? How did it feel? What did you want to change politically or socially for your new child, for your new kid? What did you want for him?
It's a good question, but I'm not sure I have a good answer for you because I wasn't thinking of that, what I want to change. I mean, what I wanted for all the kids in whatever decade they were born was opportunity for education, opportunity for social justice, opportunity for them being as great as they can be. And that takes a climate in a country that allows for that. And so I think we've had that climate in America for a long time, which is why it's a great country.
All right, well, that is all the questions I have for you, Jack.
Okay.
I appreciate
Thank you very much.
You answered them very thorough and well.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.